Alright, so I'm here at the warehouse looking at 2021 Halloween stuff. Check out this Michael Myers with the... They couldn't get the real soundtrack, I guess. Gemmy, Jason. For all my Funhouse fanatics. And here's Freddy. And for all you people trying to contact this company that I'm working with, don't. They don't want to hear from you. Please don't contact them. Here's another one.
I seriously don't think I expected any more or any less. But I appreciate to whoever made these videos for the super rude remark. Nice to know that our opinions don't matter. Whatever. It don't matter about that. But I will give credit where credit is due. I thank you for showing these videos to the public and showing us what we are to expect. Come around, let's say August, like mid to late August, for when these guys do come out. Me as a collector who has been alive since Gemmy had taken off as a corporation. It was. I could definitely say that this is a step up for what Gemmy has been doing from the past. I do want to have to say that, am I impressed with these models for the mini horror figures? If we're looking at it from what Gemmy has brought to the table here lately, yes, I'm impressed. But compared to what we saw prior in the past early 2000s, then no, I am not as impressed. Especially with the Michael Myers. But honestly, I didn't expect any more from the Michael Myers because that is obviously their own model of Michael Myers. That it wasn't a direct copy and paste of the original model. I do believe, like as mentioned in the video, that this man was that this prop was not obtainable with the original audio and looks. I'm sure there was a lot of strings to pull because I do believe copyright and I do believe having to obtain certain characters now are probably more difficult, which is also why we don't see, life-size Jasons and Michael Myers. But back in the early 2000s, that was a different story. I get that. And I also understand that these are very early developed models, but something just tells me that that's going to be the models that we see. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not frustrated with Gemmy because I've really lowered my expectations when it's come to Gemmy, like real low compared to what they used to make. And so I don't feel disappointed anymore at this point when I see something show up from Gemmy and they think it's probably so amazing, but in reality it's not. So I'm just going to go down the list here and just talk about each one and my opinions. Now, as I mentioned before with the Michael Myers looks decently okay. This is obviously just a downsized version of the life size that they made in 2020, and we're not going to even look at that monstrosity of a freaking life size, because the life size on that one just sucked. The big thing I would have to say, though, is the idea that this Michael Myers compared to the life size is so much better. Okay, at least the head turns and the hand moves up and down. I will give it that. They stuck to the original mini horror figure looks and the mechanics and everything. It looks great. I absolutely love it. But I don't like the model. But again, I understand maybe copyright issues are a big thing in today's world, and I understand that it's probably very hard to obtain the actual models of certain characters and the audio for certain movies. And so Gemmy, I feel like, wanted to go ahead and do it again, but they couldn't probably get a hold of the audio. So I'm not gonna, hate them for that, but I think they really could have done so much better on the look for this Michael Myers, especially with the life size. That was just awful, and Jimmy should just, scrap that and take it off the shelves and never bring it back out again. But this mini horror figure Michael Myers is not scary. It's very cartoony. It honestly looks like if they decided to put Michael Myers on Teletubbies and called him a character and tried to teach him friendship. That's the kind of look I see on this. But anyway, otherwise, I mean, for what it is, it's not bad, and I will give Jimmy props compared to what they've made in the past. That this isn't awful. And now we're going to go on to the Jason, which, in my opinion, compared to the original Jason, not so good. But I do admire the fact that they stuck with the original look. My only issue is how they made it look. This Jason's eyes are obviously bulging out of its head. But the detail is actually very nice. It's not cartoony looking. And the audio is original from the original mini horror figure. And it's not like modified. It's not nothing was messed with. It wasn't some brand new audio, and that was my biggest fear when I saw these guys. I was like, oh no, they're gonna do what they did with the Michael Myers, but thankfully they did not. And to me, if this is true on what they did with this Jason, then it is possible that we will see the life size be almost similar to this mini horror figure. Now, obviously the look of it is not going to be the same, but I think that if we're lucky, he will still have the original Jason audio, and it might actually, I think the audio will save that life size if that's true. So I'm very glad that Jimmy was not dumb enough to mess with Jason, and they took the time to at least, make the outfit of him look nice and original. They made the mask look nice and all dirtied up, and they added some extra detail in there. The head looks great. The back of the head looks awesome. And, as you turn, it doesn't look too cheap. But again, just compared to the original, I would say the head of this one's a little bigger. I would also say that these horror figures are larger, but these could, like I said before, these could be prototypes for all we know. Because they are warehouse models. So, these may end up getting out there somewhere, auctioned off, and start floating around. If you all can get a hold of these, then great. But I'm hoping that they'll end up looking pretty similar to the ones in the catalog. And they'll just kind of fix up Jason's face a little bit. But otherwise, very impressed with this one, Jimmy. Good job. And then finally, I wanted to talk about the Freddy Krueger. The Freddy Krueger, you can't mess him up. And from the looks of it, it looks like Freddy Krueger is... he looks great, actually. Compared to the original model, I would say this one actually has a little more deep detail, believe it or not. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And I'm going to say that this Freddy Krueger's face has a little more detail compared to the original. Now, the original model I absolutely loved, don't get me wrong. But I do like the colors they use on the face from what I can see. It's a little darker, it's a little more realistic looking, and it doesn't look like the life size to me. And to the life size that they recently made, which in my opinion was just absolutely awful, straight out of like hell kind of BS. But the idea that they decided to go with the deep depth of the face is great in my opinion. The claws, the claw that he has on his hand, and his clothes also look great. The audio's original from the original model, which in my opinion is also awesome. They also all move the same as the originals. My only issue with this Freddy Krueger, and everyone points it out, is that the hat's a little too big. Now, it is a little bit of an issue to me, yes. But to me, I don't mind the hat being too big. I understand that Freddy Krueger did have a bit like a smaller hat, but I also don't want it to look like a fedora. I want people to know that his hat is like, has more of a rounder, build to it. But the life size, in my opinion, didn't match that. His hat kind of looked like a fedora, if I'm being totally honest. And just comparing these to the older models, the Freddy and the Jason definitely passed the test of being close enough to the original models, but obviously the Michael Myers doesn't. Now, in my opinion, to Gemmy, I know that if what this dude said on the video is true, they probably don't even want to hear from us. They probably don't even care about our opinions, because these companies are just known to do that. They don't care for what we have to say, I feel like. But I think they should have held off onto the Michael Myers until they could possibly strike a deal with, John Carpenter and whoever owns Michael Myers right now, and see if maybe they could strike up a deal and be able to use the original audio, or do like in honor of, I know Halloween 2, like there's going to be a prequel coming out to the original, to the 2018 Halloween movie. And I was thinking, it would have been cool if they could have struck the deal with them and to promote the movie, to make this like a actual Michael Myers and make the Michael Myers look good. Because compared to the original horror figure, this Michael Myers is just awful. The song is the exact same one from that awful life size, and so is the model, the look of it. And to me, this just doesn't strike. I don't know. To me, this just doesn't strike Michael Myers. Again, he looks like he's straight from like a cartoon. Honestly, I could take this thing and put it in Friday Night Funkin' and give him like some kind of like beat bop noise, and he could be a character from Friday Night Funkin'. But that and again, I know not many people like this because everyone's used to the older stuff. Again, Jimmy's downgraded, but I also feel like I feel like restrictions on copyright and stuff like that has really messed with them, so they have to be very original. I do know that back then they would make a lot of old stuff, but the fact that they're actually recycling a lot of old stuff kind of brings us now to this period to where we can now see that they're trying to make remakes of their old stuff. And if that's true, we could possibly, I'm hoping and praying that we could possibly get Freaky Geeks to come back, or Big Heads to come back, or we could see some older stuff come back in the past. They could make a bunch of old life sizes again, and I'm really hoping that's what they do, because like I don't know if Count Vigor, I'm pretty dang sure Count Vigor was an original thought. You guys can correct me if that's not true. I'm pretty sure Edwardian Butler was as well. Headless Harry was. I feel like they could do all of that again, but they don't, and I don't understand why. I don't know if someone has the original rights to those sounds or not, but I mean, if we're seeing this now, there's a possibility that here in the future, it could happen more, and we could see some old stuff return in some sort of way, and I would absolutely love to see that. And this is a good start, especially with the Grinch. I said that before with the Grinch review a while back when the Grinch got first put out. I was very happy with that, and it was still a good life size. It had its problems, but it was still a good life size altogether. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes, and hopefully they'll change up the models. But you all let me know what you all think down in the comments below. I really want to know your all's opinions about this, and if you agree with me. But otherwise, are you guys impressed? Are you with at least some of them, or are you just disappointed altogether? I have to say I'm impressed with 2 of them, but disappointed obviously with the third one, which is the Michael Myers. But again, I'm gonna keep the biggest open mind here and say I'm not gonna blame Gemmy only just due to the fact that the copyright restrictions today are probably more tight than it was back then when they first made it. So Anyways, guys, without any further ado, I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to put my, opinion down onto the table and let people, hear it, talk about it a little bit and just get your all's opinion in the comments below. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. This is Jimmy Bones signing off.